Ozark Season 3, Episode 9, Fire Pink opens up with Ben ranting at the back of a taxi, explaining what happened in the Ozarks is wrong. He continues to rant without any aim in what he is saying. He delves into random events, his father, who he is, killing a child on a scooter. He confesses that he worries too much and goes deep into a person's s. He then asks the taxi driver how his day has gone. Ben has a crusader element about him, and in a way he is right, but while off his meds, he is clearly a liability. Marty approaches Ruth and tries convincing her that Ben needs help and that he is sick. Ben arrives in his taxi, walks up to Ruth and kisses her. Ben tells Marty that he spoke to Helen and Aaron and told them that he does not get to commit him to the hospital. He also reveals that he told Aaron about the drug cartel. Ruth instantly grabs a gun and asks Ben to get into the car. S is about to go down. Meanwhile, Helen speaks to Wendy and acts like she knows nothing about Ben, only that he's been released in the hospital. Marty rings Wendy while she is with Helen and reveals that Ben approached Helen and Aaron and told her daughter everything. Wendy has to act normal on the phone as Helen is clearly pretending that nothing has happened. As for the kids, Aaron approaches Charlotte and Jonah and tells them what their uncle Ben had said to her. Charlotte gives it all up, telling Aaron not to tell anyone. Meanwhile, Ruth insists that Ben has to leave the country while he hides out at Darlene's house. Nelson is after him as per Helen's orders. At the Burt household, Helen tells Wendy and Mary to drop the act and she asks where Ben is. Helen is furious because Aaron does not believe her over Ben. Wendy explains she will get Ben out of the country. Aaron walks into the house and calls her mother a liar. Wendy tries to convince Aaron that they aren't criminals, but it is too late, the damage is done. Aaron walks out crying, saying she is going to go back home. Marty tells Helen they will fix all this, but Helen coldly states she needs to fix all the vulnerabilities. In the aftermath, Marty wants a moment with Wendy, but Charlotte and Jonah want to join the conversation. Jonah offers to help Ben and Ruth and then wonders if they can start a new life again with all the money he's gathered up. Wendy has an idea. She says they need Navarro to know that they are more valuable than Helen. At the casino, Marty tells Sam to keep losing money at the casino, even though Maya Milla is watching over him. Ben enters the casino and Marty panics as he sees the CCTV and sees Nelson entering as well. Marty approaches Ben and Ruth and tells Ben to leave with him immediately as Nelson is downstairs. Ruth tells Ben to follow Marty and confesses to being in love with him too. Marty takes Ben on a speedboat and drives away. This episode does not slow the pace at all. Ben asks Marty to give him a chance to make this right. Marty tells Ben that he made a decision a few years ago and it has since made a difficult situation on his family that he's regretted ever since. Marty explains that the cartel will have the entire family killed, which is why he needs to protect him. Wendy picks Ben up to take him to Kansas City in Fire Pink. In a parking lot eating a burger, Ben apologizes for ruining her party and that he thinks Wendy should have stayed in politics. Wendy asks Ben where can she take him so he can get better. Ben breaks down. Both siblings end up having a laugh in the car, claiming Helen isn't smarter than Wendy. Wendy falls asleep in the car so Ben sneaks out. The next day, the officers come to her car and ask if her brother is in danger from a man named Navarro. Luckily, Wendy manages to get the police to leave them alone and she gets mad at Ben and tells him to not interfere or talk for the rest of the trip. Meanwhile, while Wendy and Ben are on a road trip, Helen tells Marty that his brother is a liability for the organization and that there is no room for mental health issues. Helen also explains that Aaron will not trust her again now. Marty states Aaron will trust her again, his children did. Helen coldly says, regardless, you know how this has to go.